Arsenal will not be taking a UEFA Europa Conference League place via the Carabao Cup this season after qualifying for the UEFA Europa League. The place will instead be taken by the next eligible Premier Division team instead. And that could be us. Welcome back. Hello folks and welcome back to Glory Hunter. Yes, we've got ourselves quite the situation. Since we last met, we've played one game. Chris Wood scored again, so best striker in the league? I think so. Tell you what, when he plays 35 games for me next season and scores 50 goals, people are going to have to eat some humble pie. I mean, I'm here. Let's watch it together. What's really interesting is how he picks up on scraps all the time. Chris Wood has scored most of his goals by just being the best anticipator of a football I've ever seen. So yeah, it's a 1-1 against Palace. They actually survived in this game. And again, it's not great work from us off the back of the 2-0 win against Brentford yesterday. We played Bournemouth, final game of the season to play then. And they're safe, 13th place. And there then is the league table. We find ourselves 3 points behind Tottenham Hotspur. A major goal swing would have to occur. They're away at Brentford. So if Brentford want to win like 5-0, that would be good. But we can absolutely cock this up today. If things don't go our way, say we lose the game and we'll simply draw, then we've got ourselves a problem. They play, who do they play? Leeds. So they're away at Leeds and we play Bournemouth. So if you do the maths on that, we definitely bottle this. Arsenal also battling. I feel like Arsenal, giving updates on Arsenal for absolutely no reason. Arsenal could get in the Champions League for those that are following their story, which is apparently everyone. Actually, they've already played their game, weirdly. So City have won the league, Liverpool are in the Champions League, Manchester United are in the Champions League. The battle for that final spot depends on if Chelsea can get a result away at Aston Villa. Tottenham, again, if a big goal swing happens, could be dropping out to the Conference League. And we now need to keep a spot that has just been allocated to us. I think I mentioned it last episode, like, could this happen? Well, yes, it could happen. It's us or it's Wolves. And the only way we find out then is by playing Bournemouth in this game. Having had the season we've had, I did not think that we would be here. 11 defeats and 11 draws have been hard work. And ultimately, the games that we've won, and it's not a coincidence, are just against all the rubbish teams. Bournemouth, one of those. Actually, what happened last time? It was a 2-1 win and Joe Willock scored, and it was a very, very long time ago. Of course, once we've got the game out of the way, we'll start to look at the squad a little bit, have a little conversation about that, look at the jobs that are on offer elsewhere in Europe. There's some interesting things happening, so we'll definitely come to that, as well as the budgets that, again, the board will be giving me for a future season, which could play a major part in if I stay. We know it's going to be 72 million, but how much more than that will it be? I'm Newcastle, for heaven's sake. Now, Declan Rice is carrying a small injury, 4 days until he returns to fitness. What is the injury, Declan? Blisters, you're playing. If anyone's watched the channel before, you know that blisters is not a reasonable excuse. Wood and Isaac have now created a partnership in the final 3 games of the brilliant. I mean, finally, but God, too late, boys. And I've put Trippier back in the attacking fullback spot and keeping Maximin in that attacking inside forward spot. I think pressure is good. One switch we're going to make for today's game is, rather than bringing him on with desperation later on, Botman's going to start from the off, and Oman Babadeli is going to continue in that cover defender spot. The one person I'm really interested in is Nick Pope. Lots of people saying in Newcastle saves they've had, he's not been great for them. 14 clean sheets isn't too bad, but there's definitely been games where I feel like he's not really performing. In the advanced goalkeeper stats, he's sort of quite middling, sort of throughout all of them. He sits very, very average. Of course, if you want to be slightly better, then maybe the goalkeeper's a position to look at. But overall, he's not too bad. He concedes a few more goals than he probably should, but all in all, not too bad. I've seen a lot of comments about Nick Pope, so I wanted to address some of those. It might depend, like goalkeeper-wise, it's not a must fix, but it might depend on who becomes available. Again, how much money we have to spend, who leaves, who comes in. It's lots to talk about over the summer. It's going to be a good week of Glory Hunter. I'm looking forward to it. Right then, Newcastle at home versus Bournemouth. Here we go then. We know if we win the game, we're fine. Okay, so some early goals would be great. But as we've seen against teams that wear red, we are fallible. Also, it's not. There we go. That'll be annoying some of you, and it was annoying me. Trippier's ball in, Botman was there. Of course, looking at Chris Wood, can he end the season as one of the most informed players in the league? That's what I'm hoping for against the Bournemouth side. Again, we'll be safely secure now. Nothing really to play for, as Trippier does well to eventually get the ball back. Captain Trippier, as there's Declan Rice out towards St Maximin. We've got Chris Wood in the middle. Can he find him? Goes towards Isaac instead, and Neto very nearly carries that over his own line. That was very exciting. Of course, we do have to keep a close eye on what's happening elsewhere in the league. Wolves' result obviously matters to us quite a lot. As Babadeli does really well and plays it all the way back to Pope, and we can just calm things down a touch. Result-wise, I've actually not got them on that screen, so every time we're not in highlights, we'll have to keep a very close eye on what's going on. McAllister, though, into Isaac, and those two combine again. Isaac, again, we're so good at picking up loose balls and smashing them into the back of the net, apparently. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 0, and a really, really good start to the game. 5 minutes gone, and this might just get us 7th, and the Europa Conference League, somewhere where we've all dreamed of it, haven't we? When we were growing up, we're like, oh, not the Champions League, the Europa Conference League. That's what I live for, and that's what we're here for right now. And in a first season where we've achieved, well, if we get into 7th, let's just call it the bare minimum. This would be a really, really nice way to end a pretty chaotic and disappointing to a degree, mainly because of Arsenal season. St Maximin, can you go for goal? That's it. I don't know what that is. That's anyone describe that for me? Because I don't know how to say what that was. All right, let's just pause briefly. Never mind, there's a free kick. Oh God, if they score this now. I was just going to pause briefly to look at the results coming in and look at that league table. As Christie's got a free kick from miles away, and I think it's hit the top of the bar actually and gone behind. All right, here's the spot we were looking for then. Latest scores, league table. I'm going to prioritise those for this one. So far, no goals at Ellen Road. So Leeds 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. We do have to keep a close eye on that. Of course, if Brentford start scoring goals, that we do need a 10-goal swing, Brentford. So I mean, it's really up to you, boys. Corners we played in. Lots of aerial threats for us. Sven Botman, Chris Wood, amongst others. There's Sven Botman, hits the post, and I think it's gone under the goalkeeper. Sven Botman gets the goal. Centre-back, like we just talked about goalkeepers, right? The more goals we score, the more we can talk about this. Centre-backs are a real issue for me because the quality of player we could attract before was kind of level to where we already are. Babadeli was brought in slightly because he could be a third, fourth choice quite happily, rather than have sort of these really high-profile centre-backs come in. That's what makes it difficult. Again, still results going around. Leeds are winning against Wolves. Did you see that? So our chances of finishing in 7th place. 7th place? You shouldn't get anything for finishing 7th. I know they're trying to include more teams and stuff. Tottenham have scored as well. So the Europa League looking less and less likely. Of course, one big change in Glory Hunter this time around that we haven't had previously is the new Champions League format. Yes, some of you have probably forgot about that. It makes our ability to win the Champions League a little bit different, as well as the Europa League, of course, because they have the same thing where it turns into a league format rather than loads of different groups. You play 8 games over the course of many months. It goes over into the new year now as well. So, yeah, very interesting. And building a team capable of winning some of those things here at Newcastle, well, that might be a job too big. And, of course, we may become a wanted man as Isaac makes it 3-0. There's some jobs on offer. Some of the jobs that are available then, I'll tease you a little bit. Lyon over in France, but I think they've finished 6th. No Europe, so probably not for me. But Tottenham, if they have a poor end to the season, which they sort of have done, and the most interesting of all, one of the insecure jobs I saw on the job security list was a little team in Spain by the name of Barcelona. You might be called upon soon, viewers, for a vote. So let's discuss that again after today's game. It looks as if 7th place is being held down. Had we finished outside of that, one, our reputation would have been problematic, I would have said. The board weren't overly happy about the cup exits either. And that might have really skewed things moving forward. But to be honest, we're still Newcastle. We still aren't in the top Premier European competitions. And Kiefer Moore's scoring against us. So, seriously, don't put that on the CV. It's fine. Is this a goal? No, it's not a goal because they've not celebrated it off screen. So, they can't be a goal. Did you know that, viewers? Am I doing tips and tricks? Some of you will know this. If they punch the air... I'm ruining VAR for all of you. If they punch the air when the decision's being made, it's a goal. If they don't, it's not a goal. Every year there's something. It's like knowing if it's a walkout on FIFA. We've got our own version of that now. It's fantastic. Very irritating. McAllister then, forward it goes towards Alexander Isak. Can he put another one in the back of the net? He can. It's 4-0. It's nice to see him turn up for like a change. This is really good. Let's find out though. Will it be a goal? Keep your eyes on them, viewers, just to test the theory. It's a goal. 100% a goal. They're celebrating wildly. The goal has been awarded. And yes, I've ruined Football Manager for at least 50 people that didn't know that this was a thing. I'm sorry. Lovely finish, by the way. Is that his hat-trick in the game? I feel like he's been on fire. Yeah, it is. A hat-trick for Isaac. He clearly saw the charts we made last episode and thought, yeah, I really do need to be ahead of Chris Wood in all of that. And by the way, Brentford have scored. Leeds still beating Wolves as well, so it wouldn't have mattered our result here. We could have lost to Bournemouth, and it would have been fine. But there we are. What a way to end the season. Isaac on a 10 rating. I mean, who saw this coming? And I look like a pretty competent manager at the very end of the season at home to Bournemouth. Yeah. But I know this is going to sound incredibly obvious, viewers. The reality of this entire season for me has been that there are 14 games a season that are very difficult for Newcastle. And that's, oh no, not 14. Well, yeah, probably 14 because of the way I manage. But actually, there's 6 games twice. So there's 12 teams. Maths, viewers. Okay, it wasn't great for me, but a bit unnecessary. There are 12 games every season that are very, very difficult for Newcastle to currently win. And we need to try and lower that number to 8 or 9. And then again, if we can pick up results at home, which we have done, right? Those draws turn some of those into wins. Then we start to leapfrog some of these sides. We're only 7 points behind and level with Tottenham. So it's not too far. Manchester United dominate as well on the final day. And Arsenal do cling on to that spot because Chelsea bottled it somewhere, did they? Chelsea? They've been destroyed by Aston Villa. Yeah, so they don't go into the Champions League. And that puts us on a bit more of an even playing field with a team like Chelsea because of the money that we have. We're up there with them. And this is where things get interesting then. We indeed do go to the Europa Conference League. The Europa League places, hang on, neither Manchester United or Arsenal will be taking the Europa League place via the FA Cup this season after qualifying for the Champions League. The place instead will be given to the Premier... Does that mean No, not currently. But does that game have to... Am I in the Europa League? Is that what's just happened here? I'm not sure. 27 million has been given for finishing 7th, which again... Premier League perks, that's pretty good for us. But the board, that's what I'm interested in. What are we going to get as a transfer budget? This is kind of what we're here for before we have a little bit of a chat about what the team looks like going forward into next season, players that can definitely remain and jobs that are potentially available. There's no doubt in my mind, sackings are about to occur. Amanda? Not for, I don't mean... Not me, obviously. I thought it was top half finish. What happened to top half finish? Record a Premier Division top half finish. Passed. I don't see, there's nothing here. But that's next year, Amanda. For the love of God. Amanda, listen, that's not now. You might be disappointed, but we never discussed it. So you didn't put it in the club vision. The irony is Amanda needs to get her eyes tested because she's got that wrong. I mean, what? Is this what it's like being them? Mum, £210 million. I mean, I cannot be trusted with that. I don't think in the history of this channel you've ever seen me spend £210 million on a budget given. That obviously doesn't take into account sales. I'm going to go absolute. Okay, I mean, yeah, yeah. Totally reasonable, totally fair, totally, yeah, fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What? Okay, then let's look at this end of season review then and review it ourselves. It's actually going to come in quite handy for us. In terms of new signings then, I think we can agree based on the fact that he's pretty high on the list in terms of players that have done well for me. Alexis McAllister was a good signing. I'm sure Paul Dummett had a similar effect over in Brighton. They didn't get relegated. Of course, some of these signings weren't made by me, the likes of Botman, Pope and Isaac, but Dan Juma, 6 assists, 4 goals, obviously became a victim of the system a little bit. We took him out. Of course, Maximin then stayed pretty consistent, so I didn't feel the need to change those 2 rounds too often. I probably should have substituted them a little more. The addition of Declan Rice, we've got to be honest, like the board are really happy he's here, and perhaps with the pre-season and going into next year, we see a better performance, but it was actually worse for us than he was for West Ham. So you kind of forget he's here a little bit. Declan, and I've got to say, viewers, played through the blisters. So who knew that would happen? Me. So not too bad at all from that perspective. How else have we got on with some other players here? Thomas Lemar, of course, is the other one. And I think for the fee that we paid for Thomas Lemar, it's actually not too bad. £4.6 million. There might be a world where we sell him on for some big money. Of course, still, as you can tell, a really talented player. But is he a player that now is going to fall to the wayside a little bit. It'll probably depend on the type of players we can bring in. Of course, if he becomes a squad player that can play lots of different positions, that's obviously a good thing. You can see the hardcore and the core fan base is lessening slightly, and the social media followers up to 2.2 million. So, I mean, add another 114,000 on, right, viewers? Right? We can all agree to that. Unless you support Sunderland, then don't include those people. All right, Club Vision. End of next season, qualify for the Europa Conference League. Okay, Amanda. Okay, definitely. You've definitely written that correctly. Put it in bold, Amanda. All right, I agree with that. Sign players under the age of 23 as well for the first teams who are building for the future. And obviously Newcastle themselves are building a long-term project. And we talked about this when we were very first given the job by you, the viewing public, is that I have to basically now spend a lot of money building Newcastle up to being a bit of a force in the league. And that makes things a little bit difficult. What do the players want? That's the bit that I find interesting. Because obviously going for the Europa League, they think that's unrealistic. Okay, the Europa Conference. I've got to keep them on side. Got to keep them on side. But we'll absolutely, viewers, be aiming to win the Conference League next time around. And of course, if we fail to do so, the problems that causes later in the day when I'm trying to be at clubs capable of winning league titles in Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. Oh, heavens. And maybe even England if we have to leave before winning it here with Newcastle, which I got to be honest, seems likely. Job security wise then, oh my goodness me, jobs have become available, but dearie me. But this episode then was a slightly more, this is a pointless feature. So this was a slightly more serious episode where we've managed to talk through a few more things in detail and again, potentially look at where we could end up in the future. Oh, he wants the training facility sorted. Sorry, boss. Yeah, I'll sort that out. Right. It's not really. It's up to Amanda. Her vision's not the best. She'll probably end up relaying the pitch if I tell her to do the facilities. Sorry, am I reading that correctly? PSG make £55 million bid for Ivan Toney. What world are we living in? All right, that's enough. Okay, I understand. Yeah, all right. Our youth rating has been dropped down as well. Right, time for a conversation with the board, who are massive fans of mine. Right, improve the training facilities. Yes, please. Improve the youth facilities. Yeah, get our youth level up as well. Yeah, do that too. You can only make 3 requests, so I've wasted them really. Oh, okay. Maybe it's just in one day. It's a lot of meetings, to be fair, that, isn't it? What are they going to say? Are they going to say yes to that? Have I, rebuilt the relationship with the board? Amanda, what do we think? I'm also keeping a close eye on if Barcelona becomes available. There's nothing left to... Oh, no. They, viewers, are in the Champions League final. So I suspect they're going to be fine, but they play Manchester City. So being a glory hunter, we kind of want to know how that's going, as Amanda has said yes, and yes. Well done. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was just the chairperson. Okay, never mind. I'll tell you what, though. I'm not sure, as Manchester United, I just saw there, won the FA Cup. I don't believe that puts us in the Europa League, does it? That hasn't changed around, no. Barcelona have finished second in La Liga and are in the Champions League final, and Xavi's insecure. I mean, I'd be insecure. All right, avoid the tax hit, which, we'll do. And then the commercial summary. Yeah, we've sponsored, everything's up, viewers, which, the new Newcastle, the newer Newcastle, call us. And Allegri, did you see that there? Fly through. Allegri has been sacked by Juventus. See, these end of season situations get very, very interesting indeed. Tottenham still there, then Fulham there as well. But Juventus have set the manager after getting to the Champions League. Oh! The big question I have right now, and I'm not putting this to you quite yet, okay, because I'm not sure any of these jobs are right to go to. Of course, I have to interview first and then maybe see if the offer then comes up, if it makes sense for me, and then the vote turns to you. But will I ever have a better opportunity to win the Europa Conference League? Why did I put this in the thing? Probably not. So I think the reality is right now, applying for those jobs isn't ideal. But at the end of this season, that's maybe when a few of the other jobs become a little more possible. Champions League finals on the 10th, by the way, so we're just getting to there. Arsenal signed he rejected PSG. What is going on? 24 and 37. I say, okay, that's what's going on. All right, yeah, it makes more sense now. Should I have been in for Toney? Should I have made a move? All right, the Champions League then has been won. Manchester City. At what point will we feel sorry for them and feel like it's our job to win Manchester City their first Champions League? Barcelona then back on top. Xavi, I can't imagine he's still insecure. Their bank balance is quite frankly hilarious. All right, so this now should give us a better look then at the jobs on offer. Juventus in there, Tottenham as well. A couple tempting. And of course, Juventus were one of the options, so some of you will be shouting at your screen. The smallest amount of you will be shouting at your screen because they were the lowest voted. But still, an opportunity maybe for the future. If the managerial merry-go-round carries on like this, there may be some opportunities. Tottenham in the Europa League, opposed to Newcastle in the Conference League. I think Newcastle is just the place to be right now. Let's look at the type of players that we can maybe attract right now. I just saw Buffon there, which wouldn't be smart, but you look at the type of players that we can potentially attract. We can turn Newcastle into a powerhouse, which comedically could be very comical in about 10 years' time if we start the ball rolling. But there we are then, viewers. That concludes today's episode, and yeah, lots to compute. Of course, if you enjoyed it, please do leave a like on it. If you want to see some more, make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you again tomorrow for a whole lot more of this at 5 p.m. We love with care for inspiration. Until next time, I'll see you again soon. Goodbye. Tonali? Sure. Let's just get Tonali.